Alrighty, we are live. I see we have a couple folks here. Hi, Jolie, Sean, and Viv. Glad you guys can be here. Hi, everyone. I'll say it and I'll type it. Great. So I'll go ahead and get started with my intro. Welcome everyone to La Suprema Lunch. This is our third one, and these were designed to provide value to our community. Some really great presentations to help you with your business and help you in your professional life. So I wanted to give a little background of who La Suprema is. So La Suprema, we're a new co-working space in Tucson, located in Barrio Viejo, just a couple blocks south of downtown. We have everything from virtual membership, where we collect your mail, flex membership and resident desks, to private suites and team suites. We also have day passes as well. And when it's safe to have larger events again, we're super excited to have some really beautiful larger events, both in our courtyard and in our cafe area. So that'll be an exciting time. So right now our La Suprema lunches are virtual. Eventually we'd like to have them, be in person again, but for the time being, they'll be virtual over these Zoom webinars that we've been doing. So our May is starting to come to an end. So we're super excited to have Bjorgman here today from Audio Issues. And then next week from Startup Tucson, we have Kanisha, and she'll be talking about how to make virtual events not suck, which is really great and valuable for all of us these days. And then we'll have a June lineup as well. If you're ever interested in presenting, just let me know and we can chat through what presentation topics would look like. And then if you're not already on our newsletter, you can join by just going to lasupremaworks.com. Alrighty, and now I'm super excited to hand it over to Bjorgman, and he's going to present for about 45 minutes. And then if you have questions throughout the time, you can just post them in the Q&A box. So I'll take note of those, and we'll leave about 15 minutes at the end for questions. And we love those questions at the end. It's really a really engaging way to end the presentation. So we really encourage those. All right, everyone. Well, let's turn it over to Bjorgman.
All right. Hi, everybody. Let me share my screen and get this show on the road. So I'm going to talk about getting more customers through stronger sales copy. And the most important part of the writing process when you're writing copy is understanding your customer and how they think, because using their language, you will be able to better pinpoint and relate to them so that they understand what you're trying to sell and are more inclined to buy from you. So copywriting is one of the most important skills you can have as a business owner, because you can create a great product and you can be solving a great problem. But if you can't convey into words what it is you're trying to help with or who you're trying to serve, it might just fly over people's heads and they won't understand you. So first of all, almost nobody cares who I am, and that's great because I've still made a healthy living anyway. I have an online business in the music industry that teaches home studio musicians and bedroom producers how to make a bigger impact with their music by teaching them the technical skills they need to succeed. And so very, very niche topic. I'm mostly known for the step-by-step mixing ebook and now physical book that I constantly keep on my desk here, because it's basically my brain in a box. And when I'm mixing, I use my own materials. But as you can see, the materials that I have here, this is a sample of my product suite, but almost nobody is interested in these topics. And that's fine, because there is a small enough niche market that is interested enough and has a burning problem and a burning pain that is willing to spend money trying to understand these concepts that I've learned in the last 15, 20 years as a musician and an audio engineer. So throughout the process of the last 10 years of running an online business in a very, very niche market in the music industry, I developed this thing last year called the Customer Canvas. And it's a great sort of visual representation of what you should be thinking about when you are thinking about writing sales copy for your customer, or writing sales copy for your website, your marketing materials, your sales pages, and etc. So just quickly, we'll dive into each of these throughout the process, throughout the presentation. But first of all, there's always the problem. You always start with the problem. And as you can see, this is adapted from the Lean Canvas, which is also adapted from the Small Business Canvas. And it's just sort of the most important parts that I've taken throughout the years. And this is a more customer-centric visualization of what you want to think about when you're writing copy. So starting with the problem, always a very, very important part. And then you have the emotions, the hopes and dreams, and the pains and fears. And the hopes and dreams and pains and fears is basically the emotional state your potential buyer is in, and what they are either trying to achieve by solving the problem that they have, or trying to avoid by solving the problem that they have. And on your side, you want to give them one tangible result, and we'll get into that. And then interests and worldview is basically sort of who they are as personas, deeper than just the problem or solution. And then traffic sources, where can you find them online? And then competition and collaborators. Knowing that there's competition is great, because you know that there's demand, and it also can open the door for partnerships and collaboration from other people that you may think of as competitors, but maybe you can find a mutually beneficial joint venture where you both succeed. So focus on the problem. First of all, businesses succeed when they focus on solving a problem for their customers. So what are you hoping to solve for your ideal customer? Don't start with your solution, start with a problem, because if you start with a solution and not a problem, you're not an entrepreneur, you're an engineer trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And then hopes and dreams. People will justify their purchase with logic, but they will ultimately buy based on emotion. They might be reading your sales page for hours. They might be watching every video that they have, that you have on your product or whatnot. But in that split second when they're hitting buy and putting in their credit card information, they are buying based on emotion. We just are wired that way. It's our lizard brain. That's just how it is. There's no real getting around it. You can be as logical and rational as you can, but you can't escape. You can't escape your human nature. So, what is your customer hoping to achieve? How will they feel after going through your program, enlisting your services, or buying your products? And then pains and fears, what keeps them up at night? What are they trying to avoid? What is the emotional pain they are trying to eliminate after using your product? How do they talk about the problems in a negative way? You need to speak their language in order to be able to convey the value that you bring. And that brings us to how you get these, how do you get the language? So in my case, I do customer interviews. And but I do them mostly through online surveys, and I can go into the surveying in depth, maybe through the Q&A. But I basically always ask every subscriber to the email list to fill out a survey that asks them what their problems are, what they want to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months, and if they could wave a magic wand and I would send them exactly what they need, what would that be? And then what are they doing now to improve their productions or improve the quality of their music in my case. And so what that means is I get to dig into their problems. I get into what they're trying to achieve, which makes it so that I can get a tangible result, or format my sales copy to convey the result that they want. What other things are they trying now to solve their problem is basically just me trying to figure out where they're going for information now, what are the where are the competitors, what are other websites, etc. YouTube is obviously full of videos on music production, and I can find a lot of my competitors there. And then if if you could, the magic wand question is basically just an idea generation for me to create content, to create maybe mini courses and things like that. So if you haven't figured out already, there are two languages on the screen here, and one of them says, speak their language so they understand what you're selling. And the other sentence says, speak their language so they understand what you're selling. So I hope that nails the point home there. So results, what transformational results are you selling? What is the one tightly defined result your customer will get after using your product? Is it a new website? Is it a new logo? Is it a lean body, six-pack abs, a home-cooked meal, 1,000 songs in your pocket? If you can position your product as a transformational result, you're more likely to succeed because the customers, they better able to visualize exactly what they get. And then worldview. So I really like this quote by Seth Godin, which is people like us do things like this. And it basically puts you into the mindset of figuring out who are the people you're trying to serve, what are they like, and is there a specific camp that you are trying to build and attract people to. So customer demographics and geographics aren't really enough anymore. You know, you don't, it's a little bit old school to just find the zip codes and then the age range and then hope that, you know, 1% of that target market will maybe react to your offer. That's a bit too mail order for me. But you have to dig deeper and understand their interests, their worldview, and their lifestyle. So think about who they are as people to come up with your customer archetype. So a good sort of worldview based on my customer is the home studio musician that rejects the notion that you need thousands of dollars worth of equipment and a professional studio and a music producer and mixing engineer and an AR man and Columbia Records behind them in order to be successful as a musician. So that happens to only the fraction of the 1%, and I'm trying to serve the people that know that you can make great sounding music in your home studio. And actually at the last Grammys, I like telling the story a lot, is the home studio movement, if you will, was justified by Billie Eilish and Phineas taking home about 9 Grammys for a record that was made entirely in their home studios using minimal budget equipment, basically like less gear than I have in my studio. So those are the people that I'm trying to serve. Those are the us in the us versus them. And the them in this case are the old curmudgeons that refuse to believe that you can do that, and always tell people that you need a $2,000 microphone if you're going to do anything good, and you have to have a $400,000 mixing board and an acoustically treated professional studio if you're ever going to make it big, when that's just simply wrong and not the status quo or the paradigm that we are in these days. Because the currency of the music industry is the song and the quality of the song, and not the state of the art equipment. So think about that when you are thinking about who you're trying to serve. Is there a particular worldview that they they adhere to or follow that you can agree with too. Because if you can take a stance, maybe you don't want to take a super controversial stance, but if you can take a stance and sort of, you know, put your flag in the sand or whatever, then people might get attracted to what you're selling or what you're talking about. And then channels, this is the most straightforward part of the customer canvas. This is just where are these people? Once you know your customers' interests and their psychographics and what the industry is and what the potential customers can be, you should find the places where they hang out. What are the online Facebook groups? What are the forums, the subreddits on Reddit, the Quora? Are they asking a bunch of questions on Quora, for instance? And so what are the YouTube channels that they subscribe to? And what are the other places you can find them, both online and in the real world? And it's not necessarily just to lead them to your website or spam them with like advertisements on how great your services are. This is a great place where you can mine vocabulary, where you can really get a sense of how they describe their problems and how they describe what they want to achieve. Because if you can describe the things that they want to do in their words, they're more likely to believe you because you're basically reading their mind at that point. And then competition and collaboration. Obviously, if there's competition, there's demand, which is good. If you're trying to be super innovative and you want to be a unicorn startup, I can't help you because I don't have experience in that matter. But if you are trying to be completely innovative, unique, and position yourself on a different part of the positioning quadrant, then you still need to answer these questions. So it's still good to mine other businesses and quote unquote competitors for what they are currently doing. Are other businesses offering similar solutions to the problem you want to solve for your customer? Is there a world in which you and that other competitor can collaborate because they might serve a slightly different subset of the market than you? How could you mutually benefit from a partnership or a joint venture affiliate agreement? Last month or this month, no, wait, it was last month. Yeah, last month I did an affiliate deal with an audio blogger who's basically doing the exact same thing as I am, but he's doing it in the hardcore rock scene. So he's basically positioning himself on a different genre than I necessarily talk a lot about, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people on my email list that might be interested in getting specialized content to that very genre. And he did a launch, and I did an affiliate agreement or affiliate partnership with him where every customer I sent him, I got a 50% commission off of every sale, which made for quite a good deal in the end after the launch was over. I did a similar thing last year where a friend of mine, another audio blogger that does almost the same thing, he came out with a course where he teamed up with Grammy, three-time Grammy winner Jakir King, who's done Kings of Leon, Nora Jones, Tom Waits, and they created a course on record making. Now, I don't have a course on record making from beginning to end, and I certainly didn't have the time or the resources to create that course with that person, but I'd be happy to send out emails throughout the launch window with an affiliate link in it, because I believe in the course. I took the course when we were hashing out the details of the affiliate agreement, and I was blown away because I'm also a big fan of that particular producer. And so it was easy for me to partner with that person and not share the email list, but send emails that promote that course to my email list, because it's something I believe in, and I think that everybody will win in that scenario. I win by getting a commission. The recording revolution wins by, or that's the other blogger, wins by getting the other half and another customer. And the customer also wins because they get a lot of really, really great info that you would have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for if you went to audio school. So that leads me to, once you've done all that research, once you thought that through, you have to at least, I would recommend writing this down. Not the things that are on this on the screen, but like having a customer persona or a customer archetype, a paragraph of their story, so that they can guide you in your marketing. So what is their story? Could you write a paragraph about their daily life and how your product would make their lives easier? So knowing what you know after researching a customer, write a paragraph about them, who they are as people, and how they would interact with you to solve their problems. A specific customer archetype will focus your marketing because you know who you're trying to serve. And this is an example of one of my customer personas. So Kjell is from Norway. He lives in Sweden now. He's a home studio musician who works on his own music in his home studio. He has a full-time job in marketing, so he has discretionary income to spend on hobby education, but produces his music on the side, sometimes collaborating with people across the world online. He doesn't understand how to make his songs sound like the music he hears on the radio, because it's one thing to record the parts, and it's a completely different beast putting all of those parts together and mixing them like the songs that you hear on the radio. So he doesn't understand how to make a song sound like music he hears on the radio, and struggles to understand the technology to mix better music. So he finds the materials on audio issues, buys the premium training, and learns to feel more confident with his abilities. This leads to him confidently releasing more songs online and feeling fulfilled as an artist. So is this something that you could do and you can make it up. It can be an amalgamation of your best customers, or it can be your ideal customer that is maybe fictional if you're just starting out, but might evolve into a real person down the line. So there's this quick offer exercise I like to show people because it kind of puts things into perspective a little bit. Oh wait, there we go. So this is sort of like basically a copy exercise for, maybe it's an info product, maybe it could be anything really. So it's introducing, just write this down, introducing whatever the name of your product is. It's the product that does X, Y, and Z for what the target audience is, and you should have a name for your target audience. In my case, it's home studio musicians, bedroom producers. Maybe it's overworked moms, or overweight people, or like high achieving professionals that, whatever. Just make who is the persona that you're trying to reach. Are they videographers? Are they writers? Who are they basically? Who want, and then you want to list the main problem, or the main promise, or the problem it solves. The problem this product solves. And if you get the name of the product, and you should have a snazzy name for your products. Ashley Ambridge, she's a very cool copywriter and blogger who runs the Middle Finger Project. And she has a book of the same name that's really good. And she calls this the container effect. So basically it's just branding. So what's the brand name of your product? It should be, the 30-day song success system, the step-by-step mixing system, the getting things done fast playbook, whatever, right? So if you get the name of the product, you will, and then you can list 3 features and the benefits. Don't just list the features, always list the benefits. So if it's, extensive worksheets, that's the feature. Extensive worksheets so that you can create 30 days of content in an hour, something like that. So lists 3 features and the benefits they provide, and then never forget the call to action: buy now for only, and name the price, of course. and then it comes with a certain guarantee. Is it a 30-day money-back guarantee, 60-day money-back guarantee? What can you offer to people that are on the fence? And then if you want to add bonuses or extras, that's also a good example or a good thing to do, just to add that value. In my case, sometimes, because the perceived value of an ebook has only so much. I can only charge so much for an ebook, but if I package the ebook with a few bonuses and maybe some videos, that the perceived value becomes larger and I can command a higher price point. All right, so I have a sales page example here. Does all this make sense? Just want to make sure that everybody is everybody good in the chat there? Cool. All right, so I'm going to go through a sales page example. I did this as a gift for a friend of mine who is the CEO of a marketing agency here in town. Don't take it too seriously, but I hope that you can see how the sort of structure of a sales page for an info product or for a product in general works. So we have a benefit-driven headline, how to completely change your life in 9 months or less. And then we have a subheading that just sort of expands on the promise. The tried and true solution for bored 30-somethings with discretionary income looking to challenge themselves like never before. So one second. So this qualifies the audience, right? Bored 30-somethings with discretionary income. And then you start into the story or the hook of the sales page. If you're anything like most professionals, you have a steady job, a roof over your head, and the basic financial security you've come to expect from your career. So you're sort of writing a story where they are the protagonist, because when you write in the second person, they see themselves in the story. You have a social life, happy hour, group text, weekend brunch plans, Sunday football with the boys. And now we twist the knife or make the problem worse, but it's just not enough. There's something missing. Your friends are fine, you say, but you just wish things were somehow different. There's a hole in your heart that you don't know how to fill. So here's where we talk about emotion, right? You're not sure what to do with all this extra discretionary income, so you just spend it on booze, brunch, and badass trips to Ireland. Talk about a tired, monotonous lifestyle. So what if I told you there's a better way? So now we're transitioning into the solution. Imagine what it would be like if you could see your friends less often, genuinely miss going into the office, get so little sleep you're often not even sure whether you're dreaming or not. Sounds pretty spectacular, doesn't it? And if that sounds like fun, you're in luck, because we got just the right thing for you. Now we're introducing the product that's going to solve the problem that they have. Introducing Have a Baby. The perfect solution to never leaving the house, even if you feel like the walls are closing in. And then we sort of expand on the problem again. That's maybe optional, but you also always want to tell the customer exactly what they're going to get and list it down, break it down in as many chunks as possible, if it makes sense. So here's what you get. 1 human baby, now in male, female, and gender undecided. 18 years of legal responsibility. A lifetime of worrying whether you were a good parent. And then you want to have an image of your product. In this case, this is an example baby. Final results may vary. And then you have testimonials. So if you collect testimonials from your previous customers, or you have testimonials from, maybe if you're creating a new product, but you have testimonials from somebody that has worked with you before, you can use that verbiage in there too. And then you want to make sure that there's a big guarantee that what they are buying is guaranteed to succeed, or is guaranteed to help them out. In this case, it's the opposite, obviously, because this is irony at its height. It's an 100% all risk, no return guarantee. It comes with, no matter how much you screw up as a parent, you can't return the baby. There's a reason other parents tell you there, you can even raise the child, put it through college, and let it move back in with you afterwards, and you still can't return it. That's how ironclad our guarantee is. CPS takes this guarantee very seriously. So if you're not happy, you're still stuck with the baby. And then if you have bonuses that you can add on to the product. But wait, there's more. That's obviously a joke. If you have a baby now, you'll take advantage of these incredible bonuses. And then you list out the bonuses. In this case, we have a library of dad jokes, a kindergarten teacher that doesn't take the child's advanced development seriously, the word for word scripts for the talk, and a high school boyfriend that's obviously a loser. So, and then you get to the call to action. So you really need to tell your customer exactly what to do. You are leading them down the page with your words, and you want to lead them down to the button so that when they click on the button, you tell them exactly what to do. So in this case, this is just some number I found for the average price of raising a baby. But I want to show you a real example that is well, yeah, let's go to the real example first. So this is one of my sales pages, and this is basically a EQ course, a guide. It's a packaged video course with an ebook. So qualifying statement, or for the audience, benefit driven headline, and then emotional hooks, questions that I hope that they are answering yes to in their heads. And then I agitate the problem more so that they, and I use jargon that they use themselves that I have learned from them. One, because I used to be in their shoes and I just learned, so I'm 10 years ahead of them. And two, they have used these particular words in survey responses or in my customer interviews. So I use all of that jargon and all of that verbiage here. And then I introduce myself. I add some credibility indicators. There's some social proof or credibility here. And then a relatable story because I was just in their shoes, just like them. I'm not going to read all the stories, it's very long. And then I'm transitioning to the solution and introduce the product. And then I tell them exactly what it is. I have solid testimonials. If you can have pictures of the people, it's even better because then you can actually, people are more likely to take them seriously. And then what will you learn? So I just go through exactly what they get from the course itself. So it's basically chapter by chapter. And then more testimonials. There's some added value in the free bonuses. I put retail price on the bonuses. And then more testimonials, and then a frequently asked question category or section is a good place to is a good thing to have, because if you have launched this product multiple times and there's always popping up similar questions, you should collect them and have a section like this. I have an ironclad money back guarantee. I have more testimonials. And then I have what they call sort of the imagine statement. So I'm telling them what they are bypassing, what they are avoiding that I had to do. In my case, it was 10 years of learning this stuff, going to school, relocating, spending thousands of dollars on audio school and all that sort of stuff. So I'm basically telling them, you don't want to do that. All you need to do is press this button and take this course. Then I have 3 tiers. The EQ course in itself, and then I have a bundled with another course, and then I have I bundle this with a coaching session, and that's it. That's the sales. That's sort of that's a real version of a sales page, not a stand-up routine. And then this is also a good example of a sales page that really works. This is the first page that people see when they subscribe to my newsletter. So they go to a landing page where they put in their email, and then from there they get taken to this page, and it tells them to check their inbox to confirm their emails to get the free stuff that they were signing up for. But in the meantime, I have a one-time offer. So again, qualifying statement, value-driven headline. It just so happens that the books are called, are named in such a way that they are basically value-driven statements in and of themselves. So, and then there's this timer that times that, you know, if it goes down to 0, like this offer is really only available on this page, and I never really offer this offer again to anybody other than new subscribers. Then there's a image of the product, and then just lists out what they get. And I have free bonuses with that. But this is sort of a very minimalistic version of the longer form sales page. There is a call to action button here. There's a couple of a few testimonials. There's again an ironclad guarantee. There's a quick story in the guarantee, because I really like this particular message that I got from Greg. And then it just ends with another call to action. So you click that, you go to the checkout page. And then on the checkout page, it lists things again. I have a video message where I show them exactly what happens once they check out. So I'm guiding them the entire way. And I've set all this up ahead of time so that I never have to do this again. These sales pages are basically, you know, little salesmen that work for me while I work on developing new products or anything else, or create new content. There's an upsell here that people sometimes take advantage of. There's 2 extra books that are highly specific. They're about drum mixing and vocal production. And the same thing. Now this gets even smaller. So like we're condensing the really, really long sales page into just this order bump here. So value driven headline, what they get, bonuses, and then a call to action. And I think that, yeah, that's it. I think I nailed it all.
You nailed it. 2 thumbs up. Thanks, Bjorgman. So now, everyone, we're going to open it for questions. I know I have a couple of questions to get us started. So when you were going through the customer persona, I thought that was really helpful. And I was wondering if you advise having multiple or narrowing it down, or like, so that's the first part. And then the second part is, when do you revisit your customer persona?
So you can have multiple personas for sure, because in my case, I do have multiple personas. So I have the home studio musician that wants to try to figure out how to do everything themselves, and is not willing to pay for a professional to do anything for them, and they sort of have a DIY mentality. And then my secondary market is the engineer that's already established but is looking to improve their skills and or take their skills and make more money from them. So those are those are 2 separate people in a way. They can be the same, or they can graduate to, you know, the musician can graduate to being a producer. So I tend to focus on the home studio musician who does everything themselves, because in my survey responses, I have I ask them like, what best describes you? And I ask, like, are you a musician that works on their own music? Are you an engineer that works on other people's music? Are you this, that? And over half of my audience that answers that survey identifies as a home studio musician that works on their own music. So 80-20 rule being a rule, I focus on those to get the biggest bang for my buck. Because I think that if I'm more specific to them, the people that are maybe slightly different, they can still derive benefit from that because they know how to pick and choose.
Yeah, that's great. Another question is, can you talk a bit about funneling customers, with the example being existing customers?
Um, so existing customers are great because they're more likely to buy from you again. And how I do that is I run little small promotions to my customer system, and I can segment them based on what they have or haven't bought. And then I run promotions targeted at them and in order to increase their lifetime value.
Mhm. Great. And then I know that you'd show that whole example of the like having a baby thing, which
Yeah,
was really hilarious. I really enjoyed that. Um,
fun.
but I was I was wondering, are there some brands out there that you would recommend following? Like I know for me, I really like I just sometimes seek out other newsletters because I really enjoy just like getting that copy and kind of starting out the day with that. Do you have any that you recommend as like strong brands to follow?
Yes, absolutely. So Copy Blogger is one of the best ones. They've been around forever. They've revamped uh, recently, but they have a ton of free resources.
Okay.
It's copyblogger.com. And then I like growthlab.com. That's Ramit Sethi's business advice website. He's not for everyone, but he is he's very knowledgeable, and his materials are great, and there's a lot of free resources there. The Middle Finger Project is great. I think that's .org, middlefingerproject.org. Ash is a crazy character and really great. And she has some solid advice. There's a phone sales. There's a free phone sales course that she offers that is super valuable. Even if you're not selling on the phone all the time, it still teaches you some techniques. And then what else? I mean, Pro Blogger is pretty good. I haven't followed them for a while, but that should get you started in the right direction for sure. And there is always, if I give you too many resources, you get too many options and you'll be overwhelmed. So I'll leave it at 3 or 4.
That's something to keep in mind too, right? Do you actually want to talk a little more about that? Like the overwhelming amount of options that we get?
Well, I mean, it is interesting. So like choice anxiety is a real thing. And, if you had 20 different products and you're always trying to offer 20 different products, the customer has no idea which one to pick and will probably choose none of them. You would probably have a better luck bundling the 20 products together into a membership site where there's only one price to pay, you know. And I tend to do the small, medium, and large sort of tiered pricing, which is very popular and works because psychologically you're asking them when they come to the bottom of the page. If you have one price, you're asking them, do you want this or not? But if you have multiple packages, you're asking them, which package would you like, so that they're choosing between the packages, not whether to purchase with you or not. So that's one sort of thought, one mentality on it.
Yeah, that's great. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A, or even in the chat. We can see them there. We have some like extra questions that are coming through. And I'd be interested to know how people enjoyed the little activity. I was like frantically scribbling my notes down. I thought that was really helpful, actually, that exercise to just like fill in the blanks. Having it set up in that way is so helpful because I know for me, sometimes it's really hard to just like start creating, but when you already have that template or that outline, it makes it so much better. All the creativity starts flowing from there.
Right.
That was great.
Yeah, and it all comes from just understanding like what the customer is trying to achieve. And I can't recommend enough just surveying your customer, really understanding really understanding and listening to the language that they use and using that language in the sales pages. That's probably, if there's one takeaway, it's use the same language as they speak.
That's great. So when you survey them, what's your method of surveying your customers?
I use Google Forms.
Yeah.
So Google Forms, I have so it's 4 questions and some sort of, and some qualifying questions that create like pie charts, so I can see that. And then whenever I'm creating a new product around a specific thing, I usually I just look for that keyword in. So for instance, if I'm doing like mixing drums, I will look for mixing drums in the keyword in the spreadsheet of the survey answers. And because it has like 1,700 survey responses, I find a lot of people that are struggling with mixing drums, and they tend to tell me in detail what it is exactly about mixing drums that is bothering them. And then I can take a lot of that jargon and I'll put that in a Google Doc, and I'll try to use their language as I'm writing the story or the sales page around it.
That's super helpful. And does it normally go out like over email, or do you have that live on your website somewhere as well?
It's just the first thing that I ask people to do when they become a subscriber. So
Okay.
the most important call to action on my website is to become an email subscriber. And then once they become an email subscriber, it's either, you buy the introductory products or you join the email list. And actually in both cases, I ask you to fill out a survey to help me understand them better. And I've been doing that for 10 years. So it's really helped me, understand the thought process that they go through.
That's super helpful. Super important. That's great. Alrighty. Well, I think we're gonna be wrapping up then. You just covered so much in for the 45 minutes. I feel like I'm like inspired and ready to tackle sales copy for real. That was super enlightening and really, really great. If anyone has any other questions, you have like a minute or so to get those in. But really just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. And then we'll have a recording of this, and we are gonna, since we're a new business, we're gonna ask for a Google review in exchange for a recording. So we would love your feedback as well, and we'll be sending that out soon. So if you want a recording of this, it'll be available. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Bjorgman, thank you so much. This was so valuable, so engaging. So thank you. And then everyone have a wonderful week, and we'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.